So now what do I do? Well, I guess there's only one thing. There's something I'd like to know. Are you real? Can you feel?
Hi friends, I'm Prairie Vintage. My name's Linda. I'm an energy intuitive reader here on YouTube. I use spirits and my intuition, the tarot, to communicate energies to you guys, most fabulous viewers. If you guys are new to this channel, welcome. I'm so glad you're here and that you guys found me. I hope you guys stay and subscribe. If this reading does not resonate, you can go check out my playlist and hopefully find a reading that does match your energy frequency at this time. For those of you guys who are returning, I am so grateful to be here. I'm so blessed, and I can't wait to get into your reading. You guys are all very safe and welcome in this space with me today. Today's reading, we're looking at what major revelation, life-changing revelation is happening in your world, and we'll get some guidance in regards to how you come to this revelation or the challenge you're having regarding coming to whatever conclusion or understanding you're needing to have in order to shift your energy. All right, so don't force messages to fit as usual, and this will be a pick a card reading, and we'll use these 4 decks for the 4 piles, and then these oracle cards right here for further information for each of these piles. So I'll put a link right here to the tarot deck flip through for those of you guys interested in these decks. And for those of you guys wanting to energetically charge the cards for future readings, this way we can connect our intuition and get the readings a little more accurate for your future readings for you. So I will clear these cards and then we'll get into your 4 options. And if at any point you want to select from the timestamp below to take you straight to your reading, you can do that as well. And I will see you guys at your pick. Option number 1, Mystic Mondays Tarot. Option number 2, Grimalkin's Curious Cats Tarot. Option number 3, the Sasaburrito Tarot. Option number 4, Sugar Skull Tarot Deck. All right, so take as long as you need, and if you feel called to multiple piles, that's fine. Okay, you could have multiple aspects of yourself, your situation, your whatever you're dealing with, you're pulling through. People, places, things, okay, as usual, energy isn't going to be titled, so I don't know whose it belongs to. So you can ascribe it to whoever, however it belongs in your situation, circumstance. Okay, but do not force it to fit. I'll put the timestamps below, and I will see you guys at your pick. Hello, pile number 1. You guys picked the Mystic Mondays Tarot. And we're looking at a major revelation, life-changing revelation you're having, okay, and how you sort of come to this revelation, or maybe what's keeping you blocked in regards to having a conclusion made or an understanding made in regards to this revelation, whatever this is, okay? So we'll use the tarot and these 2 oracle cards for clarity, and then we'll get you some guidance in regards to what's going to sort of help you see the light or come to some understanding that you're needing to come to in order to have growth, movement, or progress in your current situation, circumstance, or in your life, spiritual journey, whatever situation you're dealing with. So, clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 1, Spirit. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 1. Thank you so much, pile 1, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading. Clear and concise message in a way that pile 1 will understand. What revelation are they coming to? Power in reverse. What revelation, understanding are they coming into awareness of? It's going to be life-changing for pile number 1. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good. Wow, it is really interesting. All of these felt kind of tough to come out. These last 2 are just like airy, coming out with ease. I feel it's almost like relieving some tension here in this revelation, whatever this is. Maybe acknowledging something or doing something. We'll see. Okay, this tower is like, in the upright would be like allowing things to sort of just fall apart rather than having to resist, upkeep something here. But in the reverse, I don't know if the tower did happen or if we're just preventing something from falling away and then feeling much better once we allow it to happen, whatever it is. Let's see. Spirit, clear and concise message, pile number 1. All right. It's like, yeah, I don't want to see that. It's kind of how it fell out. Yeah, I don't want to acknowledge that. Maybe something we're not wanting to acknowledge here. Clear and concise message, pile number 1. What revelation are they going to come into awareness of that's going to shift their world in a major way? What understanding, major revelation will pile 1 have? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 1. Manipulation. So what is this? Resisting what is? Okay, 78, manipulation, unfaithfulness, dishonesty, trickery, revenge, deception, and competition. Type 6, the loyalist, thinking center between mistrust and trust. 6 and 3, this could be against ourself. Okay, disintegration, stress level. So we have some Capricorn, Gemini, Taurus, Libra energy coming through. And we have the positive 54 or the number 9. Some Virgo and some Cancer energy. Now, I will keep in mind this was trying to come in reverse and be in the hidden. This seems like a self-sabotage energy here, okay? Let's see, though. We have 4 Pentacles in reverse. So what is this? This is hanging on. This is letting go, getting out of our comfort zone. Queen of Cups in reverse. Cancer, Scorpio, Pisces. 10 Swords, letting something end. Okay. Hermit, Virgo energy in the reverse, and then the Ace of Swords, the great old truth. Okie dokie, and then the Lovers, and under that we have 6 Pentacles. Okay, Gemini energy. Let me sit here with this and channel what this message is trying to tell you. Eight of Swords in reverse. I am going to pull a card for this Queen of Cups shortly, though, okay? Hopefully I don't forget unless I begin to channel and it becomes clear. So pile number 1. You probably already know that you're probably your worst sort of enemy in whatever situation, circumstance you're dealing with. Okay, and how you're being your worst enemy here is how you're engaged in your energy regarding your situation that isn't allowing things to happen naturally without you either hanging on or without you accepting what is, trying to do something in order to prevent or manipulate energy. So I will say and do whatever it is that I need to say and do in order for things to go in a way that I think it should go. So it'll make me feel more comfortable. Okay, because I'm trying to prevent something here. And I think you're trying to prevent whatever naturally would happen, which has to naturally happen, so you can close it out, so you can come to a greater understanding of something of yourself. So it's like, as long as I don't have to face the greater understanding of myself, you know, how I function, or maybe my own truth, it's like a distraction energy. I will continue to be involved in other problems or this situation, which might be problematic here. or it'll be the focus of my attention here, and I will give it all of my energy and my time. Because if I do just let it sort of be and allow that thing to fall or not work or do whatever it does do, then I'll have nothing left to do but look at myself. And subconsciously, the only reason we would not do this is because there's like an imposter syndrome or a inability for us to be truly happy. It's like, if I do what I'm being called to do and look within myself, I'm scared of what I may find. But there's only one answer at the end of the day when I do this journey, and that is to find happiness for me. So the only reason I would refuse to do what I'm being called to do and step up to the plate is because on the other side is my happiness. So I'm going to delay and distract and try to find my happiness, manufacture a happiness in something that isn't where my happiness is at. And we'd say, well, that's silly. Why would I ever, like avoid my own happiness or do this? And it's like, the real question here is asking oneself, if I continue to be involved in something that isn't emotionally fulfilling right now, making me emotionally upset or emotionally disappointed or dysregulated, if it's not emotionally fulfilling and I'm not allowing it to just be as it is or let it go or call it quits, what is that telling me? That's telling me that I think I can manipulate the situation in a way here that hasn't been manipulatable, in a way here that's going to allow this thing to change. And so I'm trying to trick myself. I'm manipulating this thing in a way here. And so I could stay here as long as the situation allows me the dissatisfaction of staying here. Burning and turning, upkeeping, exhausting myself, burning myself out emotionally. Now, we could be invested emotionally and so deep. That's like, if I were to accept and let this thing fall without trying to manipulate it or make it to go how I want, it's going to be so painful. So I'm preventing the pain. And Spirit is saying there's only one way through, and that's allowing whatever pain does come and sitting with it. Because on the other side of the pain and acceptance of the one way of doing it proper is what you're looking for, is your happiness. And the only way to get the happiness is to do this hermit's journey. There is only one truth here, and it's your great truth that's aligned with your destiny. You can't manufacture a different destiny path. There's only one destined path that Spirit knows of. You could prolong it, you could delay it, you could convince yourself it's elsewhere. You could hang on to emotional dissatisfying situations and get stuck in a rut here. And Spirit is saying, once you're done playing all these games, eventually you'll know that there's only one way to happiness here. So either your situation just eventually just makes itself no longer available for whatever, or you could accept some form of great truth about your situation and let it go and let it be what it is. But that doesn't mean you have to take action in that situation. That means just let the situation just be what it is. And we can't just let it be what it is. But I feel like Spirit is saying, as long as you're invested there, we cannot invest in the new. We cannot invest in the truth. We cannot be ready to receive the truth or the real here. And so we're limited. Feeding that mind story of where we think the happiness needs to be, or where we think the destiny is, or what we think we need to do in order to manufacture the happiness. But that's a limited thought. And so your revelation here is one that will come when you allow your situation to just fall, when you let go. And this might feel very uncomfortable for you because it's like I said, I'm so emotionally invested, or I'm comfortable being in this sort of tense situation. If you're used to tense situations, things not working out, you holding the ball up in the air, you doing what you're doing here. This is your norm, So there's a lesson here in this for sure. I'm going to pull a card here, even though it's clear to me. You're emotionally unhappy, and I feel like you're emotionally invested in something here that isn't good. So let's see. Why is this Queen of Cups here in reverse? It's misaligned with your purpose here, whatever this is. Now, this doesn't mean that this job, this person, this situation is not the part of your destiny, but how you're engaged. Your inability to let it go through a painful process, because I think you're anticipating it's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. It's going to hurt. So I'm prolonging the hurtness here by doing what I always do, or what I am defaulting to do, and hoping that I could somehow outsmart the universe by maintaining this sort of energy, but it's not doing anything. In fact, it's just prolonging your happiness here, okay? So we have the Three of Swords, yeah, and the Fool. So prolonging your happiness here. So what is Spirit's talking about? And there's the Hanged Woman. So we had the Eight Swords, now we're seeing the Hanged Man, okay? This is when we finally see things differently, and we can make different changes, different moves. And as long as we're sort of narrow vision with the Eight Swords and only seeing your situation from that angle, we might be doing different things. Maybe this will work. Maybe that will work. Maybe if I do this, maybe but it still is the same angle. I got to do, or I can't let it go, or it won't end, or I will refuse to let it end, or I'm still doing energetically the same thing, getting the same outcome until I finally see the truth and something different, which is a 180. It's the complete opposite of what I was doing. And I'm allowing myself to do the complete opposite. No matter how scary or painful I think it might be, that's the only thing that's going to allow me to have a new beginning and find my true happiness here. But I cannot hang on to anything of the old here to have this new beginning. And this is what's going to heal the suffering and the pain. I'm only acting like this because underneath it, there's a true pain that needs to be sat with. So this situation, whatever this is covering up a deeper thing that's going on within you, a deeper Three Swords. And so it's like, if I accept defeat here, or accept the truth of a situation here, then I'm left with the Three Swords of the initial Three Swords that I had before I got involved in this thing. And getting involved in this thing was just to prevent me looking at my own Three Swords. I started distracting myself, manipulating energy, anything but looking at my pain and suffering. So I just did this thing. Now this thing compacted onto my pain and suffering. So I got to peel back the layers one by one. First, allowing this thing to fall. Accept, if you want to call it accept defeat, it's not defeat. It's actually a victory here, because without doing this, we can't move to the next level. So it's like, let things be as it is. Release. Even if we're uncomfortable or we anticipate a lot of pain or getting hit with a lot of bricks, let it happen. And then once that happens, the real reason why we didn't want that to happen is because there's deeper pain here. And once that deep pain is looked at and sat with, and we're honest and clear about that, then we can have a new beginning and we could experience joy and happiness. And then we're on our life's path purpose. Then we can give and receive in a balanced way. So right now I feel your situation, okay, with this Queen of Cups in reverse, is preventing you from experiencing a review of your initial heartbreak or your initial pain point or your initial disappointments, whatever this Three Swords represents, because I can keep giving to a situation here rather than making a clear path to give to a situation, which is going to be giving back to me in a flow state. So I feel your situation's imbalanced, emotionally unsatisfying, emotionally unregulated here. Okay, and so this is the change in perspective you're going to have, and a major revelation. Once this revelation becomes online and you see it for what it is, that's the only thing that's going to shift the situation. It's going to shift your life anyway, whether the situation falls away or whether you start to engage differently, but you'll take different action because you'll see things differently. So your communication, your actions, your understanding are all going to be in line with your new truth. The new truth is going to be more healed. And this was reversed, by the way, is going to be more healed, is going to be more in line with what is true for you, is going to resolve the Three Swords. The Three Swords needs resolving here, and we're prolonging, delaying, distracting, tiptoeing around it, preventing that. So let's get some guidance before we close out this reading. Clear and concise message for pile number 1, Spirit. So adversity. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. Exactly. So through painful process and allowing it to fall and not resisting what is, even if it looks like it's going to be so painful, through this adversity is the only way I could get clear truth. Through sitting with my 3 swords, doing the hermit's work, it's the only way I could get the prize at the end of the tunnel, the positive. Only one way, okay? Freedom. Yeah, I possess the power to, and the freedom. Sorry, I possess the power and the free will to create my own happiness. So yeah, you're in control here to choose differently. And it'll free you from a situation. I feel right now you feel emotionally like you have no control. And you might be clinging even more to it. You might be fearing more of it falling apart. Okay, but the minute you let go, it's like you're free. It's already fallen apart. It's like, whew, ease. Like I said, when I was shuffling your cards, it's like, whoa, you don't feel so controlled by the situation or needs to uphold it anymore. You know, it's just, you're free. Yeah, loneliness. I know that I am never alone. So we might think that a situation is going to solve our heartache or it's going to fix our problem here. And so we cling on to it even more. And it's like, no, because the only thing we got to do is ask yourself an honest question. Are we emotionally satisfied? Are we emotionally invested in a way here, but dissatisfied? Are we trying to do everything to sort of upkeep something here, maintaining some form of manipulation of energy, and we still feel alone or abandoned or disappointed? And then Spirit is saying, then let it fall and experience whatever pains come of this thing. And because I feel like the anticipation of the pain is bigger than the pain itself. That's the 8 swords. Half the battle is just accepting this thing. Okay, and I think you do fear, like, oh, then I'm just in it alone, and then I gotta sit with this pain, and it's like, but the anticipation of it being so grand that you can't handle it is not going to erase the fact that that's the only way to handle it. One way. Sit with 3 swords. Sit with whatever pain you think is going to come of it. And I assure you, it's not going to be unbearable here. All it's going to do is open the door to a new positive future here. Okay, we have Aquarius energy here. I don't know if I said Pisces energy here. Gemini. So, yeah. And forgiveness. I acknowledge that harboring resentment blocks the flow of love. So, we got to heal the 3 swords that's buried. Okay? And this forgiveness could be our own, forgiving our own self, allowing things to be. Like when we allow things to be, it's like I forgive everything as it is. Like I don't need to manipulate it or control it. I'm allowing. That's the best freedom we can get. Liberation from all this stuff. Okay. Pile number 1. This is your reading. I hope this helped you, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Pile number 2, Grimalkin's Curious Cats Tarot. We're looking at what major earth-shattering, changing life revelation are you having in order to shift your energy. So you're going to have a major revelation here, okay? And this reading is going to shed some light as to how this comes about or what you can do to have this shift in thought process so that things can shift for you in a massive way, okay? Because this is like a major revelation that will change your world, okay? So clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. What major revelation will pile 2 have in order to shift their world in a massive way here? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 2. Thank you so much, pile 2, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. So blessed to be here doing your reading. Major revelation pile 2 will have that will shift their world in a massive way. What major revelation will pile 2 be having here? One more. All right, and 2 oracle cards here. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 2. What major revelations will pile 2 be having that will completely shift their world? Thank you, Spirit, for this message. Please help me to channel in a way that pile 2 will understand. And thank you so much, pile 2, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. So blessed to be here doing your reading. Okay. And then we'll get you some guidance as to how you can come to this conclusion, revelation, understanding, unity. Oh my goodness, beautiful. And so we see 3 cats laying in the sun. So this is everything flowing, everyone flowing, giving and receiving in a flow state, coming into balance and union, peace, harmony. Okay, it's a special card in this deck. And seeing beyond challenge, making things flow. And 6 of Wands, success, personal victory, one's own image. Okay, and then we have self-preservation disguised as self-sabotage, 78. And we have 108 and 9. Essence, growth level. It says love, forgiveness, gift of self. Self-love, love of life, compassion, reconciliation. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself with the number 9. So we have some Virgo, Cancer, and some Capricorn and some Gemini energy here. Okay. You have the 10 of Wands in reverse. Okay. And then we have the Grimalkin, also special in this deck, and it is in reverse. Let's get this Grimalkin. Where is it? A book. So we can see what this, it's 23. Here he is. Okay. So it says in the negative, which would be in the reverse, prefers to be isolated, retreats from society, clings to old ways of doing things, causes negative feelings or emotions as a result of being impatient or critical. All right. And we have the King of Wands in reverse, Aries, Leo, Sagittarius energy. And then we have the Tower in the exact same spot as pile number 1, if you guys were drawn to it. Okay, the Devil, Capricorn energy in reverse. And we have the Moon, Cancer energy. And then we have the Queen of Swords, Gemini, Libra, Aquarius. Okay, what's under the 6 of Wands? We have the 9 of Swords. Okay, let me channel this energy here. Your major life-changing revelation that you're going to have here. Okay, pile number 2. I feel like you're already in a process of surrender, okay? But I feel like it's also mixed with the human thing of, I can't have any hope. No, don't give me hope. Don't give me hope, because it's just a full of disappointment. And so it's always a fine line. Either we're like in this energy of like, I have no hope and everything is sort of not good, or I have this like blind optimism and then I'm in a world of destruction and everything comes tumbling down, you know, like either I'm going to believe in it so much so at my own demise, or I could protect myself and just say everything leads to shit anyway, and so I might as well not have any hope. And so your only job here, okay, would be to be in awareness of what your energy is. And I think your revelation here is going to prove something to you, because I think you're more leaning towards, I need to protect myself because everything is sort of shit. Okay, and if you believe this thing because of a past disappointment, and because I think at one point in time you had to learn the hard way, And I think you had your eye fixed on something working out in a certain way. And it's like, it didn't work out to my ego's way. Therefore, I'd rather believe that it's not for me, it won't work, and it's not. Okay? And so you'll really resonate with this little thing, because I feel like part of you knows that you have a fear underneath it all, a fear of, if I trust things to flow and allow it to go good, then the bad's going to happen with it for sure. And as long as that keeps creeping up in there, then we manifest that, a little bit of bad, And so Spirit is saying what you're going to see through is your own fear. You're going to see through your own distortion through this experience that you're having here, because I think you wanted it to be good and it wasn't good. And then you finally totally threw in the towel and gave up, and you said, I'm surrendering, but your surrender looked a lot like giving up. And that's the difference. Surrendering is learning to work with the universe and saying, I will allow whatever is for me to be for me without any resentments, anger, disappointments, or projecting the worst thing here. But I think your only way of survival is, I got to project the worst thing here. I got to project that the worst possible outcome and live that worst possible outcome. Then, when the worst possible outcome does happen, I'm okay. I've already processed it, And this is a coping mechanism because we don't want to experience a loss of something, or something being completely like devastating. And this is maybe our only way to free ourselves, But this is like a distorted way. And Spirit saying, I want you to have greater understanding. And this is why this has happened this way. This is why you didn't get whatever it was you wanted, how you wanted it. But that doesn't mean that you're not going to get success. This doesn't mean things aren't going to come together. In fact, it's the quite opposite. But you're like, if they do come together and then I am successful here, then what if I can't maintain it? Or what if it's just a blip? Or what if it's just for show? Or what if? And we could what if till the cows come home. Because if we're in the energy of what if at any point it's going to implode energy, we are too busy in that energy. We can't enjoy this thing. And of course, life is up, down, up, down, up, down. That's what life is. Things are cyclical. Sometimes they're good. Sometimes they're bad, And it's like life is lifing. But Spirit wants you to learn lessons of lifing and you being regulated and balanced, not skeptical, not swinging on pendulums, not negative skepticism, and not high optimism of the ego that's going to be like blindly devoted to something until it goes crashing and burning. I've got to be on two sides. I'm going to crash and burn with this thing with my blind devotion. And then, whoa, now it didn't work out and everything fell apart. And now I just don't trust anyone or anything or even myself. It's all shit. And what is this? This is learning to trust yourself. This is, we can have the love of whatever, person, place, thing. And we could carry this in a certain way that isn't completely devastating and blinding. So there's wisdom of engagement with the heart, wisdom of engaging in a way here in a human form. And so I feel like Spirit is saying there's something in your world that didn't work out, okay? And I think we're too scared with this reconciliation here that whatever I experienced is the reality, and therefore that's the reality that I know, and now I'm shutting something out or boxing it out, or I'm just anticipating the worst thing ever because of my past experience. And that keeps us stuck in some mindset. And so your revelation is seeing beyond this fear, because that's a fear. Shooting it down before it even got going. Saying it won't work for me because that's been my experience. Self-sabotage. Self-fulfilling prophecy. Seeing the worst case scenario here, And it's like, yeah, will we experience blips and rough patches and things maybe not flowing? Sure, but does it mean it's devastating in the end and the major collapse here? No. How do we ride that middle balance? And I feel like it could be if something means a lot to you, and maybe everything you invest in means a lot to you, I want to be fully invested here. I want to completely give of myself in a situation. It's like, but Spirit is saying the wisdom is to know and to use this wisdom based on whatever you experience here to navigate. And things will come together and you will be successful. And you might really be like concerned with like yourself now, you know? And when we're too concerned with ourselves and we're swinging on one side of the pendulum here, it's at the expense of being able to work with other. And when we're too much, overly invested in other, it's like, see, they just disappointed me. It's going to prove it's that time and time again. And so we say, that's why I don't work with anyone. And it just keeps proving that it's not. It's like, no, it's both. It's both. It's like saying, see, this world is like, it's bright, then all of a sudden it gets dark. It's like, yeah, because there's morning and there's night, and it's both. It's morning and night, morning and night. Morning and night will keep continuing. So things that you experience are going to have its ups and downs. Relationships will be happy, and then they'll be not so happy. But it's like, how do we work through the not so happies? Okay, so I feel like this is a revelation that we're working through, because I think the fear here is in experiencing something we feel it might be out of our own element or out of our own control, and we just don't want to experience this thing. And so we might put the brake on, or we might just carry this like, it's all shit anyway energy, you know? And we just keep procrastinating, delaying, preventing freedom. I possess the power of the free will to create my own happiness. Exactly. So it's like, what I feel here is like your energy of, if I don't know for sure it's going to be a certain way, then at least I'm free in thinking that it's going to be shit. It's like, no, that's actually not freedom. That's living in always skeptical of anything going good. And so we're choosing this like illusion of freedom, but we're really at the prison of our fears. We're at the prison of our fears. It's not freedom. And I think you want to be free not to get hurt, or free to, I don't know, whatever your sense of freedom is. And Spirit is saying, no, you're actually more prisoned in this mindset. And this is what you're going to realize. Because sitting here looking at the worst of situations that they're going to like come like a wrecking ball, ruining what I have here. It's like, then I just keep going from situation to situation, expecting the worst and not living and, you know, not enjoying myself, not feeling what I'm supposed to be feeling here, love and compassion and experience. It's like too fearful to experience anything here. So I'm not free. I'm caged up. I'm restricted and I'm limited. Loneliness. I know that I am never alone. Yeah. And so it comes to a point where we just get too lonely looking from the windowsill. Coulda, woulda, shoulda. I'm looking from the windowsill because I don't want to get hurt. And here I'm free. It's like, no, now you're trapped indoors looking out your window. Envy. I am the same as everybody, but with different challenges. So like I said, there's an energy here of self-preservation. Okay. But it's like, it's very much like defending, protecting oneself. And the only thing that comes of this thing is boxing everyone else out. And there's a separation between me and other. And as long as I feel the separation of me and other, I'll continue to feel lonely. I'll continue to feel like I'm looking from the inside out. That energy is the thing you're going to have to see through and experience and understand when you have your epiphany, is like, whoa, every time I'm doing this, I feel lonely. Every time I act like this, trying to protect myself or trying to be in control of situation here from disappointment, trying to maintain some level of freedom, that's when I feel lonely. That's when I shut people out. That's when I'm not considering that other people might be workable here, and that there's a middle ground, and that there's a way for me to work with other here, that it's not just about me and my own personal sense of victory here. There's allowing others to work with you, but not selling the farm here in a way here that maybe you think you have to do, or the only way it has to be. There's no fixed way here. And I think you fear this. It's like, no, come to a greater understanding. There is no this or that. There's no loss of freedom except for that when we don't allow ourselves to involve ourselves, then we're lonely. All right. Pile number 2, this is your reading. I hope this helped you. I'll see you at the next one. All right. Bye-bye. Pile number 3, you guys pick the Sasa Burrito Tarot, and we're looking at what revelation will you be having that will be earth-changing for you. Major shift in your world due to this revelation that you'll be having. Or once you have this revelation, you'll shift your situation, dynamic, circumstance, and your life. Okay, so clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. Pile 3, spirits, what major revelation will they have to shift their current world? Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3. Please protect me and the viewer as I channel this message for the greatest and highest good of pile 3. Thank you so much, pile 3, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. So blessed to be here doing your reading. What major revelation, earth-changing revelation for pile number 3 will they come to realize or conclude in their world here? Now, there's lots of nudity in this deck, so I'll have to cover some of this up, but it might be something to do with being exposed or being vulnerable, or maybe putting ourselves out in a way here that maybe makes us feel uncomfortable or shy or something like this. We'll see. Spirit, clear and concise message for pile number 3 regarding major realization. The faulty compass. Okay. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 3. Okay, and then we'll get you some advice, okay? So what do we have here? Harmony, 9. Tranquility, kindness, calm, comfort, adaptation, friendliness. Type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself. Compulsion, ideal, ego level with the solar plexus. Alrighty, and then we have 2 of Cups. And under the 2 of Cups, we have the 2 of Swords. 2, 2. Don't read bottom of the deck reverse. 2s are about balance, duality, choices, partnership, contrast, polarity. 22 is a master number. Peacemaker, diplomacy, healthy energetic boundaries, and divinely guided relationships, which you see the 2 cups here. Fascinating. All right, so we have the 7 of Pentacles, and we have the Queen of Pentacles. First nudity here. Virgo, Taurus, Capricorn energy. And then we have nothing showing here. Wheel of Fortune. And then we have here the 8 of Wands. And then we have here the Ace of Pentacles. And we have the Magician, more Virgo energy, Gemini. Okay, what's under the 2 swords? We have the 9 of Cups. 9 of Cuppity-doo-dahs. Okay, give me a minute here to sit with this energy and channel what sort of revelation you were coming into awareness of that is going to be changing your world. Look at this faulty compass, and this is looking a lot like a compass. It's looking like a ship's wheel as well, some form of navigation. Okay, give me a second here. This might take a bit, so you can skip ahead because I don't know, I'm feeling a little stuck here. So, okay, it's actually a very clear message here, you know. It really is, and I think they're already coming into this awareness, and so far this is the second last of the end pile. But it feels to me like whatever you're doing, keep doing. This is what it feels like. The other piles seem like they're going against what they're supposed to be revealing to themselves. Here, I feel like you, if you haven't already, are realizing whatever you have been doing has not worked with this faulty compass. Okay, this is like sunk cost fallacy. When we know we've invested too much time, energy, effort, resources to pull out. And if we keep staying invested there, now this doesn't mean you didn't spend a lot of time there. I think you did. I think you learned this. I spent too much time, energy, effort. I invested. I sold the farm. I put too much of myself into whatever this is, this book, this relationship. For a lot of you guys, it's a relationship, but it doesn't have to be. It's the other side of this equation here. And all I saw clearly, or will see clearly, is the value of my value. My value must be reciprocated here. If I give to something, someone, situation, circumstance, it must be of equal measure here. I do not keep going in a direction here that isn't reflecting back to me some form of harmony, happiness, my own self-worth here. The only reason I would do this is because I have something within me that was needing to get looked at. I was depending on someone, a something, or an external circumstance to validate me, prop me up, give to me, or do something here, and it didn't. And I could have kept staying invested here, but I feel like where you're at here is allowing it to just flow. I no longer need to prove myself, invest myself, give to whatever. I'm allowing myself to flow. I'm allowing changes to happen wherever they go. I'm trusting in divine guidance here because that's where I'll find the harmony. And even if it goes against what I thought something should look like, I know that this is the only way for me to manifest a new beginning for me, because the pain of staying stuck in a situation that doesn't produce, that isn't balanced, that is stuck and stagnant, and that might suck my energy for who knows how long, 7 years. It doesn't go anywhere. It's not going anywhere. It doesn't feel fulfilling. It doesn't feel like it's rewarding. And it doesn't feel like something I can work with. And it's not in line with my love of myself. To stay there would mean that I don't love myself. To stay there would mean I would settle. To stay there means I'm okay with stagnancy and imbalance. To say I'm not worthy of being loved or appreciated or given to, or my efforts, my energy mean nothing. And it's like, no, I have value, damn it. My energy, my resource, my time, my whatever I give to it has value. And so because I know my value, I got to point myself in a direction that shows me my value. Because one thing for sure that I think you're learning here, and coming into the realization, is your happiness. And so if something rocks your peace or isn't in line with giving you happiness, then it's not in line. It's not in line for it, and it's not in line for you. And so I think you're really focused on making yourself emotionally happy here, not at the expense of something, or not, I'm going to endure it. I'm going to endure it, or I'm going to, cross my fingers and my toes and sell the farm here and do whatever it is that you've already learned. Because I think you've learned a lesson here, and I think you've been divinely guided in this lesson. It feels very fated. And I think you know the consequences of repeating cycles. And I think your mind is around, I want a new beginning, okay? Because the Wheel of Fortune is 10, which is a 1, and 1s are all about new beginnings. Unless we don't learn the lesson, then we repeat cycles. And it's like, no, I want a new beginning, right by the Ace of Pentacles. And this new beginning has to be in line with self-love, and it has to reciprocate back to me. And if this new beginning feels stuck, or if there's two opposing things that cannot coincide and get in, I keep doing that, in the way of my 9 of Cups, then forget about it. Forget about it. And so you've learned that the power of manifestation here is in being consciously aware of cycles. And the power of manifestation is saying, okay, universe, what are you dishing out? Let me work with that. Rather than, okay, I'm going to force the universe, or I'm going to go against what the universe wanted me to do, or I'm going to stay put here until my ego gets what it wants. It's like, no, I know a greater truth, and it's let the universe do what it does, and then I will manifest around the universe, work with the universe. I won't resist it. And then this way is the only way for me to get tangible results here. Oh, that'll make me happy. Not wishful thinking, not burn and turn, not repeat cycles, empty-handedness, going against something, resistance, fighting, going against the grain, but true in flow with the universe. You're in flow here, okay? This is adaptation. And this is no one rocking your peace. Yeah. And I think, like I said, if you're not in this state just yet, you're coming into this. It's like, no, you're going to be very conscious. I see another repeat cycle here, or I have a conscious choice to make a new pathway for me. But it's all about me, and not in a selfish way. It's about me, because whatever happened in the past made me feel powerless, made me feel not appreciated or not seen, or didn't value me in equal measure. So why would I ever downplay myself? Why would I ever keep myself stuck? Why would I ever stay put here? No. Okay, so let's see what your advice is. Trust. I accept that my inner voice always guides me correctly. Exactly. You learned that lesson. That's the thing. It's like, even if your intuition was telling you to move forward or do something here, it's like you learned the hard way. I was doing what I thought or what my ego was telling me. Whatever you were doing was against. And now it's like, no, I'm never going against my intuition. My intuition is clear. I trust what my inner voice is telling me. Even if it feels like it's pulling away from the goal, or I have to accept some sort of loss or some sort of defeat or some sort of thing. If it feels too rough, if I'm going against the grain, then I know that I'm in resistance. And when I'm in resistance, that means I'm going against reality. And if things don't feel calm, if they feel like I can't adapt to it, then they're too restricted. And I think this is a massive lesson, trusting to work with the universe and your own energy and listening to your intuition and your inner guidance, trusting that inner voice, not second guessing it, not avoiding it, not prolonging it, not what maybe if I stay here a little longer listening to my ego or the fear or whatever. No, not no more. I move. I get moving. And I think things move very fast. Once you see this, it's like, boom, accomplishing. Okay, self-esteem. I possess gifts of the soul that benefit me and others. So it could have been that we were playing small because we have to learn. Like I said, with the roses here, it was like self-esteem, self-worth, self-love. It's like I overinvested. I put up with situations that weren't reflecting my value for longer than need be. It's like, no, I had to build up my own self-esteem. I don't feel that's an issue anymore, or I won't be soon enough. Okay, change. I understand that nothing can grow or evolve without movement. Exactly. Whatever situation you were in, stuck. It wasn't moving. I kept giving to it, stagnant. It wasn't going to move, or it wasn't going to grow. It wasn't going to change. It wasn't doing anything except for taking from me. However, it was taking from you time, money, energy, resource. It was taking. Empathy. I am open to seeing both sides of a situation. And so just because we are able to move forward, okay, allowing the universe to flow and allowing things to change, this doesn't mean we're angry or resentful, because I feel like there was you consciously choosing to invest in something here out of a need to understand some form of lesson. Okay. And so there's a need to sort of forgive whatever has happened here rather than beat ourselves up or blame situations or circumstances or force things that are stuck to pry open. It's like, no, and maybe you had to, like I said at the beginning of this reading, is like you have to be very vulnerable or very honest with them and sensitive with the truth here and embrace the truth here. Okay, but I feel like you're totally manifesting whatever it is that you were trying to manifest over here, which didn't manifest, by the way. I think you're trying to manifest a union, a harmony, a relationship, a balanced giving and receiving, and fulfillment. Okay, nines are about fulfillment. The Nine of Cups is about emotional fulfillment. This is about balanced fulfillment in an equal measure of giving and receiving. Okay, and of course the Magician is like manifesting in the 3D, exactly that in which you're wanting here, and having all the tools to do this. And so you're going to get your wish here, whatever this is, okay? But I feel like it went the round way about, and only so that you can learn to trust your compass. So it's like, why did it have to happen this way? Why did I have to get beat up? Or why did I have to expose myself, maybe even in a situation, or learn the hard way? It's like, because you would have never learned how to trust your inner voice. You would have never learned this lesson. You would have continued to try to fight reality or whatever you were doing here. And so I think you're learning very much about this go with the flow, energy, adaptation, when you need to adapt in order to elicit change. This doesn't always mean like I'm just like going wherever the wind takes me. Okay, but the adaptation is in certain situations that are stuck and stagnant. The only way to make movement is to adapt here. Okay, so beautiful pile number 3. This is your reading. I hope this helped you. I'll see you at the next one. Bye-bye. Gorgeous angel pile number 4, Sugar Skull Tarot deck. And we're looking at what major revelation will you be having in your world in order to elicit change. Okay, so this is like earth-shattering change that's going to be as a result of your revelation. What is this revelation? and then we'll get you guidance as to how you'll come about having this revelation. Okay. Clear and concise message for the greatest and highest good of pile number 4. What life-changing revelation is pile 4 going to be having here that's going to elicit the most amount of change in their world? Right here, right now, Spirit. Thank you so much for this message for pile number 4. Thank you so much, pile 4, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. I'm so blessed to be here doing your reading. What major revelation will pile 4 be having, creating the most amount of change in their world? So we have the 7 of Wands in reverse. Clear and concise message. Please help me to channel this message in a way that pile 4 will understand. Spirit, thank you so much. Thank you so much, pile 4, for allowing me to tap into your energy, the energy around you at this time. So blessed to be here doing your reading today. Magician and the 9 of Cups, both in reverse. And we will pull 2 oracle cards, clear and concise message for pile number 4 regarding major revelation driving the most amount of change in their world. And finally, one more. I feel there's actually one more. Okay, and my back is itchy. I'm gonna scratch it with my wand. Oh yeah. Okay, so pile number 4. Let's take a look, licky-loo. It says Ace of Cups and the Fool, Aquarius energy. Okie dokie. Smoky. 7 of Wands in reverse, clarified by the world. And I gotta cover her up here. So the YouTube overlords. And then we have the Knight of Wands in reverse, 2 little horsies. And the 6 of Cups. Wow, okay. And then we have the 5 of Wands in reverse. Wowzers. Wands, wands, wands. And then we have Magician in reverse and the 9 of Cups in reverse. And then let's take a look at your oracle cards. We have Gaslighting with 69. Oh boy. Okay. And then we have Isolation 21. Okay. So we have some Devil energy here, Capricorn. Okay. And some Gemini. And then some Taurus Libra energy here. Virgo, Gemini. I don't know if I said it. Okay, and then we have stubbornness, 63 and 9, determination, perseverance, obsession, which is this devil energy, willfulness, doggedness, relentlessness, type 9, the peacemaker, instinctive center between forgetting and asserting oneself with mental tendency, 63 and 9, Virgo and Cancer energy. Okay, give me a minute to, also Pisces energy I'm getting here, okay? Yeah, to sit here, you guys can skip ahead. Page of Pentacles under that. Okay. Just give me a little bit because I don't know what I'm seeing here. Okay, pile number 4. Remember, when I read energy, it could be your energy, energy around you. Apply it as you see fit, okay? There's an energy here. I'm going to read it as your energy. So, I always say, you know, I don't always say, I don't know why I just said I always say, you're your worst enemy. That's all I got to say about this, okay? How are you your worst enemy? Because I feel like you're not seeing your blind spot. And the thing in which you're doing is actually the thing in which you're creating your own problem. Your need for control And your need of how you're going about the thing that you're wanting in your world is what's creating the issue, not the fact that you want the thing that you want. The thing that you want, or the thing you're trying to succeed at or accomplish or whatever, isn't the issue. In fact, it could certainly be made for you. Okay? Definitely could be made for you. You could be happy with this thing. But there's some sort of narrative here we're hanging on to, that we think we're a certain way, or that we need it to go in a certain way, or that we are about a certain thing. And once we inject that sort of narrative into this situation, it creates chaos, and it actually pushes this thing into a chaotic state that doesn't flow anymore. And so I don't know if we truly understand that we sabotage, or that we hang on to a certain ideology. It must go like this. It must be like that. This is what it looks like to be right. This is what it looks like to be wrong. And then we develop our energies around that belief, how we respond, how we don't respond, when we engage, what we do, how we're held back, when what we say and do is so totally catered around this fantasy. And the reality is something's in front of you unfolding. And so Spirit is saying the revelation here is when we see beyond our own, well, stubbornness, it says here, but I think it's our way of being, is when we truly surrender, when we stop fighting, because the only obstacle here is that mindset. And I think you're trying to prevent something. You're trying to prevent maybe, I don't know, or hang on to some ideology or belief, you know? But it's like the more I try to not be alone, the more you're alone. The more I try to keep things kosher and peaceful, the more I'm creating arguments. Like that's the sort of thing that we're doing here. And Spirit is saying the only way for us to move to the next chapter of understanding here and close this part of this whole chaotic thing out is to surrender and not to be the obstacle that gets in our way. And I feel like you're holding yourself back because I think the eyes that you use to look at the situation is seeing the situation as the thing you got to hold yourself back from. But it's like, no, you got to resolve your own engagement. The way you engage with the situation, it's not the situation itself. So if you're dealing with people, situation, circumstance, it's not that that's the issue. It's your understanding of how it has to be and how you have to be and all of that stuff. It's too distorted and it creates distortion in reality. And so let's say, for example, if I truly, okay, now you got to sort of take it into context, but I'm going to put it really like out there. I really believe in my identity, the thing that I believe in my mind. So I'm going to say, I believe I'm a dragon. Okay. It's the same analogy, although of course you might not be that out there, but it's exactly the same scenario as I believe this thing so much so. And it's like, and now I go into the shopping mall and I'm like blowing flames in my mind, but in reality people just see somebody like blowing smoke or like nothing, and you think like flames are coming out of your mouth. It's like, what? Like that's the only thing I can explain. Like you're in one reality that's not even real. And so you're acting as if your reality is real without question. This means this and this means that, and therefore I must engage this way. It's like, no, challenge yourself. Whatever you believe here is actually not right. It's just a stubbornness here. And so I feel like the more you're in this energy, the more restraint you have, and the more need for control, the more limited you are. And there is less opportunity and potential for your tools in your arsenal, because if I believe I'm a dragon, I can't be anything else but that dragon. And so I engage like a dragon. But it's like, well, but if this situation required you to be something like a unicorn and you're saying, no, but I am a dragon, therefore it's like, then I'll know the situation not for me. But it's like, but you're not a dragon anyway. You think you are. And so you see the situation's like threatening, like it's requiring me to be this, and I'm not that. It's like, yeah, but you're not this in which you say you are either. And in fact, this situation, believe it or not, is actually not even asking you to be something that you're not. This situation is asking you to actually be what you are. And that's the irony of it, because I feel like this situation is connected to the authentic part of yourself. And you've developed some sort of coping way that you're hell-bent, hung up on proving at the expense of being happy in this situation. It's the only way I know how to tell you. And so there's 2 cards here about surrender, and it's saying when you finally have the revelation that surrendering, because I cannot be happy in this energy. It hasn't brought me happiness. It hasn't brought me the tools I thought I need. All of this control hasn't done anything except for make obstacle. When you have this revelation, then the opportunity opens up for you. Then you can have a beautiful new beginning. And I think you want, like everyone wants, not to be isolated, to be loved, to be accepted, to be appreciated how you are. But it's like if you don't know how you are and you assume you're in a certain way, it's like, I want to be approved and appreciated for being the dragon I'm choosing to be. It's like, yeah, but you're not the dragon. And so whatever the situation is actually more loving by saying, hey, you're not a dragon. And so there's a respect here in saying, I will acknowledge who you are, but I will refuse to believe in your make-believe and call you this dragon or call you this thing. And so I can't love you as a dragon, or I can't engage with you as this dragon. I would be lying to you and doing a disservice. I would be engaged with you pretending that your fantasy is real. And I think you're butting up against this thing saying, no, acknowledge that I am this dragon. You know, it's like, no one's going to pretend with you. No one's going to call you a dragon. And you feel slighted by this. And you're like, maybe I got to go this other way. I just want to be approved for being a dragon. It's like, but you're not. And you're not going to manipulate situations to see dragons, no matter how much you will it to be. And I think the bigger truth here isn't getting your situation to accept this untruth about you, but why you're trying to be a dragon in the first place when you're not, is to prevent something here that you're not wanting to see. And so I feel there's a situation that you're not wanting to just allow it to be how it is, because you are trying to have it go in a certain way, to get a certain victory in a certain way, to manipulate it in a certain way, to you engaged like a dragon within it and it get victory in that way. And Spirit's saying, no, that's actually not what's going to happen here. The only way to engage here is from an authentic space. That's how you can engage and experience the true authenticity of this experience. And so you're going to keep experiencing disappointment and emotional sort of letdowns, if you will. And the very thing that we don't want to experience is the very thing we will experience, which is feeling shut out or isolated or dissatisfied or emotionally like, you know. And it's like, even if the situation accepted you as the dragon that you think you are, you won't feel happy. Why? Because your soul knows you're not a dragon. Even if you believe it in your mind, or your ego thinks that you are, or you use this coping mechanism to feel whatever you feel. It's like your truest authentic self knows that as long as I keep pretending I'm a dragon and I get approved as this dragon, I'm not being loved for the truth of who I am. There's a deep version of you. Okay, so I'm going to give this another thing. If it's not about relationship or love, it's like, I'm like pretending to be a doctor. Like I am a doctor in the 3D world. I'm acting like the doctor. I'm doing the doctor-y things. But inside, I'm really a painter. And it's like, I really, really just want to be a good doctor and be appreciated as this doctor. And life is just leaving me empty-handed. And I never end up feeling the way I want to feel. And things are going all haywire. And I just want the life to be easy as this doctor. It's like, yeah, but for one, you're not a doctor. You're a painter. No matter how long you've been the doctor, no matter how much you try to convince yourself you were the doctor, no matter how logical it sounds that you're this doctor, you believe it so much so it's like you're not. You're a painter. And until you accept the fact that you're a painter, You're going to continuously bump your head up against the wall. And even if you get accolades as this doctor, oh, look at this doctor, he's so good. He's like succeeded in all these surgeries or blah, 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 blah. It's like you'll be like, oh, I still don't feel seen. I still feel not appreciated. It's like, yeah, because you're not a doctor. You want your art to be appreciated. And if someone liked your art, that would give you fulfillment. It's like, whoa, yes, because I'm an artist, not a doctor. But we're really hung up on making this doctor successful, you know? And so there is a form of manipulation here, and I think it's a coping way because I have to keep the illusion going. That keeps me feeling safe, but really it doesn't. And so there's a false sense of safety and security here. And I will do whatever I need to do in order to maintain this illusion. And then when there's a threat from this illusion, I pull away. You know, and then I feel rejected or I feel abandoned or I feel let down by that thing. Oh, it didn't accept me. It's like, no, you didn't accept yourself the minute you started to engage as a doctor. The minute you stepped foot in there thinking you were the doctor, you were the one that let yourself down. So your revelation here is closing this out and understanding you're not that doctor or whatever you're using here. There's something here that calls to your soul here. Okay? And it's calling for you to have a new beginning, but a new beginning in authenticity. Not as a doctor, but as a painter. Okay, that's just the analogy here. Why? Because that's what's going to bring you true happiness and make your heart feel okay. But you have to let go of control, and you're going to have to allow the truth of who you are to come out here. And I think you're just uncomfortable with this fact because you're very hung up and stubborn with the fact that a version of you or a vision of you of how you think you are. But it's like surrender. Don't get in your own way. Accept the truth here as it is. And the more we think we know the truth, the more destruction we're creating here. Okay, so this requires you to sort of trust. So let's see, what is your advice? Advice for pile 4 spirits. What sort of advice can they have here in coming to this revelation? Because I feel you're far away from this revelation. You're too close to it. Your nose is too close to it. You're not seeing your own involvement in it, even though underneath it all, I think, you know, your engagement is like, I don't know. I feel like you almost feel right now, if you resonate with this, either rejected or like you can't engage the way you think you are. You feel removed or like now's not a good time. Or I'm just like, it's like, no, it'll never be a good time as long as you carry those beliefs in your head. And you could sit waiting on the sidelines for it to shift or blah, blah, blah. It's like it's not going to magically change. We have to question their stubbornness and their ego identity here, whatever this thing is, okay? So let's see. Peace. I am a being of love and I release all negative energy. Exactly. Whatever that is, let it go. That's not you. Don't try to make it a thing. Okay? It's not a thing. So indecision. I use my intuition in all aspects of my life. And I feel this is exactly it. Because if we keep thinking we're the doctor, we'll forever be in indecision. So it's like, should I go work at that hospital? Should I go, do the brain surgery part? Or should I become the podiatrist? Like, we're dealing with non-truths and we're sitting in indecision. The minute we accept the fact that there's truth online, there is no more indecision. It's just accepting what is. There's no decision to be made. We're in an illusion right now, in a fantasy, and it's all stemmed from a need for control. And maybe it's like, I don't want to get hurt. I want to have it at my own expense or my own control, not at my expense. All right. Blame. I accept responsibility for my well-being. Exactly. So it's like, we need the control here because we feel like out of control if someone else can call the shots. And there's always this blame game, and it's like, as long as I'm in control, then I have no one else to blame here. But it's like, well, actually, you are the reason this thing is not peaceful. You are the reason that things are indecision. You are the reason why there's no flow here because of the mindset that you're holding here. That's what we need to release, our own accountability and responsibility. But right now we're sort of projecting it onto the other. Like, this thing is to blame, this thing isn't working, this thing. And it's like, no, actually, I'm the one that's being out of alignment. I'm the one doing the inauthenticity. I'm the one, like, once we shift that, everything changes. is not out there is the problem. This hospital just doesn't recognize my doctorism. This thing just doesn't. No, it's not that thing, and it's not. It's the fact that you still think you're a doctor. That's the problem here. Fear. I realize that I'm testing my resolve to live in the energy of love. Exactly. So why do we control? Out of fear. Why do we blame? Out of fear. It all comes down to different flavors of fear, because when I surrender and I allow what is, that's my scariest place to be, because now I can't control. Now I'm at the mercy. And that could be the coat of the doctor, that I'm the one who's always in control, and I'm the one. That's the fear story. You're not always in control, actually. Spirit is. And the more you hang on to your need for control and your fear that you have, that you might be seen or whatever, the more obstacle, resistance, chaos. And this is what is the only thing that's going to end things, so that you can have a new beginning in love, a new beginning to explore, a peaceful new beginning, to be seen for who you are, to be experienced for who you are, to be embraced for who you are, to be able to enjoy. Okay, but until then, no. So adversity. I accept that challenges are the best way to learn. So you're on this journey of uncovering who you are by believing that you're a doctor dragon, And the more in isolation and the more chaos and the more unhappiness we are, the tighter we hang on to gripping onto what we think we can do, the more the fear is kicking in. And at a certain point, this just snaps. Because why? Because we cannot keep hanging on to situations that feel draining, that feel emotionally depleting, that aren't fulfilling. And it takes way more energy to have to control things than to just surrender and let it be. Because peace feels a lot better. My truth will feel a lot better. It flows better. I get seen for who I truly am here. And then it liberates me. Then I know I'm truly free. Free to trust, free to flow, free to love, free to explore. And I think we're just scared to, be a novice, to be less understudied, and then we're playing with the indecision of in the world where we don't belong. It's like, well, of course you can't come up with a decision or an answer, because you're in a world that isn't authentic. There will never be a right answer here. We're deciding from a fictional character, or that fictional character, or that fictional character, or that fictional place, or that fictional experience. It's like, no, you'll never see the truth. You'll forever be in indecision. So the great realization is, am I living in fear right now? Am I avoiding the truth of who I am? Is it a possibility that I don't need the control the way that I think I do, and that this control is actually stemmed from fear getting in the way of my own happiness, of what I want to experience? And the more I resist, and the more I'm sort of hung up on this and hell-bent on having something in a certain way, my way, and that's the only way I could be happy, is then we're just sort of shooting ourselves in the foot here. And we'll never feel totally whole, even if we control it to a point where we actually manipulate it to what we think we want. We still won't be happy. No. Why? Because we're still not appreciated for who we truly are until we can be who we truly are. Then we'll be seen. Then we'll be appreciated. Then we'll be celebrated. And then we can rejoice. And then we can rest in peace. Because if we're approved for being who we're not, we have to upkeep this charade. Until what? Until we just can't no more. No more. Pile number 4. 10 of Wands. Yeah, no more. Surrender. Surrender, surrender, and surrender. So what are you going to come to realize? Surrendering to what is, not trying to control it, because the straw is going to break the camel's back. And I think what's going to break the camel's back is you're going to find yourself surrounded by fear, surrounded by unhappiness, surrounded by maybe other people who are manipulative, or maybe just seeing your own ways, gaslighting yourself, telling yourself untruths, looking out the window. Oh, I remember of a better time. Feeling alone, feeling ousted. So this is the energy that creates change. When we feel ousted, when we feel left out, when we feel isolated, when we feel abandoned, that's when we make change, because we don't want to feel this way. And I feel like there is something here that speaks to you. Okay, a person, place, or thing that talks to your inner child here. But that we are just not allowing because we're stubborn. All right. So, beautiful angel, this is your reading. I hope this helped you. I love you so, so much. And I will see you at the next one. Bye-bye.